name is Manuel. I'm the founder of Vegan Gastronomy Culinary Academy. And today we're going to be showing you how to take texturized potato protein. You're probably familiar with things you've seen of texturized soy protein or vegetable protein. What we're going to do is we're going to take the large chunk texturized potato protein. The reason we're really fascinated with this product is it doesn't have soy, it doesn't have gluten, and this is made from potato proteins. It's like 64-65% protein. It's extremely high. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a dish called Ropa Vieja. Ropa Vieja is an old term that meant like old people shredded clothes. So look at some of the pictures here to get an idea. It's a Sephardic Jewish term that was adopted through Spain and brought into Puerto Rico and to Central America, and it's famous throughout all of South America right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take a non-meat product in a dish that originated in Cuba. And for those of you who don't know, if you kill a cow in Cuba, you're going to jail for 25 years. So we don't want people going to jail. So one of the things that we have to do to turn this into meat is, first of all, we have to change it to a flank steak kind of texture. And then what we also do is we have to create a meat-like flavor. So here at Vegan Gastronomy, we teach you how to take yeast or inactive yeast, like nutritional yeast. This is a version of nutritional yeast that actually has a meaty-like flavor, mixed together with conventional spices like paprika and other things that are typically used with meat, pepper, and we're actually going to infuse those flavors into the meat. So there are two versions of texturized potato protein. What we call the large chunk, which is currently available, and the smaller, more granular chunk that you're probably familiar with if you use texturized vegetable protein like soy. This will be available in 2019. It's not available yet, but it's coming soon. So a lot of people ask us at Vegan Gastronomy, why are we trying to create things that taste like animal products? I guess the simple answer is because they taste good. And probably the more important reason is because that's what people want. If you look at some of the fastest growing food companies that are vegan in the world, they're trying to replicate cheese and meat. Companies like Impossible Burger or Day of Foods, they're trying to replicate those things. That's because people want it. So if we're going to try to get people to eat more fruits and vegetables, then we're going to come up with every trick in the book we have of using yeast and mushrooms and different flavors to make things taste and look like the things they like, so they start eating more fruits and vegetables. And they may be doing that for health reasons, they might be doing it for environmental reasons, they might be doing it just they want to help animals. Whatever the reason is, if a person were to eat more fruits and vegetables, no matter where they are, we're all doing the right thing. So that's why we try to teach people to make things taste and look like the things that you decided to give up for your reasons. So we start by cooking the black beans because they're going to take about 45 minutes. In this dish, Ropa Vieja, which is this softened meat, it's called like a stew of meat. It's typically served with black beans, white rice, and maduras or fried plantains. So we're going to go a little bit out of order. Start with the black beans, get them cooking. We'll get our rice cooking, and then we'll move into the meat. So what I got over here is I got some white rice cooking because we're going to use it in the end when we're plating the dish. Texturized potato protein is the protein extracted from a potato. And this is actually done by the world's largest starch company. They've developed the concept of extracting the protein. Then what you do to make texturized vegetable protein, you go through a process that's extremely high pressure and high temperature to form and bend proteins into these shapes. So it's really hard. If I were to bite it right now, it's pretty tough. It'll break my teeth. So what we have to do is we have to soften it up. So what we teach is we're actually going to go in the reverse process of how it's created. We're going to put it under pressure. This is a great little pressure cooker here. You can get pressure cookers, you can get the kind that go on a stove, but make sure it is pressure because we actually have to break down this and put in pressure. All we're gonna do, put it here, we're gonna fill this up with water right here as you can see. Just how much water? Just go over the top of it. And then we're gonna run it on a pressure cooker for about 7 to 10 minutes, like a rice cycle you would do. All we're trying to do is to break down that structure and make it softer. So Ropa Vieja, a lot of times is served with plantains, what we're called maduros. So what we're gonna do is make sure that when you use it, it's really black. It's sit it out and let it get really black. The blacker it is, the better off you're going to do that. So all we're going to do is we're going to heat up in a pan together with some oil and onions. We're going to go ahead and heat this up just to fry for a little bit to get it nice and toasted up. And then we're going to set it aside to incorporate it into the dish later. So we're just gonna go ahead, these are cooked up, and put them over here on the side. We'll mix this in at the end, just before we plate the dish, okay? So you're gonna see in the recipe that we talk about using a vegetable oil. What we're trying to do is, this typical meat typically is kind of a fatty meat. It's in the underbelly of a cow typically. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace that. One of the products we use, products that we actually sell as well, it's called shea oil. And shea oil is like, it comes from the shea nut. And for those of you who have a nut allergy, you're actually not allergic to this. It's been studied quite extensively. But shea oil, what it is, it comes from a tree in Africa. It's an ancient tree. They're usually 35 to 40 years old before they actually start coming up with any oil whatsoever. What's unique about this oil, there's been so much talk recently about coconut oil and poison and saturated fat. This has half the fat of coconut oil, half the saturated fat. But what's unusual about it, it's actually harder at room temperature. So this actually goes up to around 35 degrees Celsius, so it's much, much stronger for cakes and desserts and stuff like that. We use it for meat applications because it has the same qualities, same exact thing as lard. It costs less than lard as well. But probably the most unique thing for all of you is shea oil has something called phytosterols. I'll write that down for you, phytosterols right here. What phytosterols do, they can kind of trick and confuse your body that if you are eating cholesterol, together with this blocks cholesterol. So your body's not going to be able to absorb cholesterol. So we call it the anti-cholesterol oil. So once again, it's cheaper than coconut oil, it's healthier for you, and it's not a saturated fat that's going to hurt you. And how do they know this? Well, you go to the central belt of Africa where this is being harvested only by women picking it. They don't have any heart disease problems in these areas. There is no case of heart disease in these areas where they're eating this all the time, okay? Okay, so the pressure cooker cycle was about 7 minutes. So the pressure and steam actually is gonna make it softer. What we have to do now is we have to strain it, we're gonna cool it off, and then we're gonna put it through a nut milk bag to get all of the moisture out altogether. This potato protein is like a sponge. So what we want to do is first get rid of all the liquid, and then we're going to go ahead and shred it up, and then it's going to suck in all the flavors that we're going to put in when we marinate it, okay? So you can see here that it's been strained, we got all the water out of it. Now what we have to do is we actually have to make it into Ropa Vieja, or old shredded clothes. So if you take a look here, right here, you can do it with your fingers. You start shredding it, you can see it starts getting a shredding kind of texture. It's much softer now once we put it through pressure and high temperature. So what we're gonna do is shred this up real quickly here, and then we're gonna add in some of our beef vegan seasoning. Pour that in top right there. We're gonna put a little bit of oil and some wine. So now we put in the shredded texturized potato protein together with the beef seasoning, and I told you we're gonna go ahead and use an oil, so we're gonna go ahead and use the shea oil. Let me give you an idea of what the texture's like. Get a little zoom in here, and you can see it's kind of hard here. So this is at room temperature, around 25 degrees C room temperature. It's rock solid and it's hard compared to coconut oil, which is actually liquid here in Mallorca at this time. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take the one that was melted down, stuck it real quick in the microwave. We're gonna go ahead and suck it in out here in the marinade, and you're gonna see it's gonna get all mixed in together. Get a little top view, and you'll see that all this is gonna get stuck in, and it's gonna suck up all of the beef. And so there's gonna be our beef marinade. We're gonna let this sit in the refrigerator just for a little bit. And the reason we're putting it in the refrigerator, the oil's gonna harden up, and it's gonna suck in some of that fat. Okay, so this has been marinating for a little bit. You don't need to put any oil in the pan because we have the oil in here. So all we're gonna do is heat up a pan real quickly here. We're gonna go ahead and take our marinated TPP. You can see it's hardened up a little bit in there. Got all the oil there, so we don't need to add any oil. You don't want to make it too fatty. What we're going to do is we're going to add in all these other ingredients that are in the recipe. Got some garlic you're going to throw on in here. Got some garlic. You got some peppers. I'm going to leave a couple there for decoration at the end. You can make this as spicy as you want or not. We're going to put a splash of balsamic vinaigrette, just a splash, just a little bit. Add our tomatoes in. What you want to do is you kind of want to have it kind of watery, and you actually want to completely fill it. So what we're going to do is spread it out. You want it on medium heat. We want to make sure that it's completely covered. Maybe put a little bit more water in here. And we want it to reduce. We want it to reduce to about a third of the size. So we're going to let this sit, stirring in, letting the wine evaporate in time. So now it's been cooking for a little bit now. What we want to do is you want to go ahead and pour some of those olives in, some green pitted olives. We also want to go ahead and tuck in these bay leaves. On these bay leaves, you're going to take them out later. We just want to give a hint of the bay leaf flavor in here. Okay, so it's reduced a little bit, so it's time for plating. So how we're going to make the Ropa Vieja is we're going to put a little bit of black beans on a plate over here. Some black beans on there real quickly. Take a little bit of the rice that we had cooked up. Some black beans and rice, really traditional Cuban style dish. We're going to go ahead and take the maduros, or the plantains we had. Plop those on here on the side. And we're going to take some Ropa Vieja right here. Make sure you take the bay leaf out. Last thing we want to do, throw a little bit of cilantro on top. And there you have it. Cuban Ropa Vieja with texturized potato protein.
Todos lo sabrán.